get it. Swipe and pay, swipe pay. That was great, and it's definitely hard to be the first team up, so let's just give one more round of applause for the first guys to start the day. I also personally love that the team used the City Simplicity card. It's nice to see one of City's products up there front and center, and getting us to a place where you could use one finger or a one-hand motion to actually make a payment is a nice thing, so love that. A couple of reminders for those of you that are judging and are new to judging or have realized that we've actually switched our judging application from Monday to today. It's a 1 to 5 rating. 5 is the top rating. If you want to jot down some notes on the side to remind yourself of kind of why you gave those ratings, please do that because we may ask you for context later. Next up, go ahead, Nicole. Next up, we're going to have Team Spidey. Nicole and the team from SpiderLink focus on helping brands turn impressions into engagement. And in their submission, one of the things that they were showing in terms of how their solution worked hit a real passion point for me because it was about food trucks. So for most New Yorkers, that's something you like a lot. So she's going to talk a bit about scanning, about tagging, and about snapping, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't mean this kind of it. So let's take a look at the City Wallet for small business.
Thank you and good morning. So my name is Nicole Skog. I'm from a company called SpiderLink, and we have been in the mobile space since 2008. Actually, when we started, we would tell people we're in mobile marketing, and our clients would think that we drove RVs around to events, because that's what mobile marketing was. And the Razr phone was the hottest cell phone. So since then, we've worked with quite a few large brands that you might recognize up there, and we have a snap tag technology that we've helped companies like Orbit Gum turn their packaging into an instant win opportunity. We've helped Coke Zero turn events into a chance to play a scavenger hunt and engage on their social platforms. And so we're really all about connecting offline to online. How we do this is through our proprietary technology called a snap tag. You can think of it as like a QR code on steroids. And instead of starting with some black and white squares that don't mean anything to humans, we start with a brand logo and then wrap our little code ring around it. And then by having different code rings, you can have different campaigns, different IDs, and track different media placements. But I'm not really here today to talk to you about marketing. We're developing technology that extends our snap tags into payments. I'm here today to talk about food trucks and Joe, who's our example customer. And Joe, who's in Pasadena, California, has a fleet of taco trucks, and he'd really like to start using mobile payments. He got really excited about the Apple Pay announcement, and he says, what does this mean for me? How can this allow consumers to walk up, I can give them a taco, and they can pay on their mobile phone? Is there an opportunity for me to do this? Because I want to be able to offer my consumers this cashless payment plan, and I also would love to launch a rewards program. But I do not want to store any credit card data. I've heard of all the hacks. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you the solution if we can switch to my phone. Looks like we're working on it. So while that's getting loaded, this is basically the solution, a piece of paper. And Joe can go to Kinko's like we did and print it and set this on his food truck, and he's now ready for business. So this has become his new point of sale using my cell phone. So, do you want me just to? Yeah, it's on. Let me try again. There. All right, I'll be quick. So I walk up, and Joe hands me my 2 tacos that I ordered. And while he's making my tacos, I pull up my SnapPay app, and I go in and I snap. So I just walk up to the tag, scan it. Joe says that'll be $5, so I type in $5. I like Joe, so I'm gonna give him a tip. I wanna prove to you that this isn't all rigged, so how much should I tip him? $2. We're gonna give Joe $2. I hit pay, use Touch ID, and now the payment's going through. And to answer your question before you ask it, we could use a PIN here as a second factor authentication. We're going to use Touch ID where we can and on different phones, but you can also use some kind of a PIN or other authentication. So right now what's happening, it's taking a second. We're actually using the City Wallet API to add transaction. And we're also going to post this into Intuit, because the other thing Joe really wanted was a solution that would work with his QuickBooks so that he wouldn't have to go and post the transaction on his own. It's taking longer. Hopefully it will work on this Wi-Fi network. I'm a little concerned that it might, on this Wi-Fi network, if something's going wrong. I have phone screens that I can show you as well. If we want to flip back to so I can actually show you over here. So what's happening on my phone is I went through and I snapped, and when I put in the amount, it went in and, okay. So it went through. I also just got this text, so I'm pretending to be Joe as well. So at this point, Nicole's transaction is done. The other really cool thing from Nicole's point of view is that I can sign up for cool stuff, and our developer wrote this, so I've been signed up for stuff and things and blah, 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 hooray. So now I've been signed up, and what's really cool is that I could earn points just for going to Joe's taco truck. And Joe can decide that after I buy 10 tacos or 10 purchases, he maybe wants to give me $5 free or something like that. So now I'm done, I've made my payment, and I didn't have any cash. And so what happened in the background here was that we went to City Wallet's API, we added the transaction, and we also went into Intuit and added the customer. So now let me go and be Joe. So Joe now goes into his QuickBooks, and he is going to see my transaction posted for $7. So he got a text notification, so I'll go into my text. So now if I'm Joe, I know that Nicole just sent me, Nicole's a really good customer, she's been sending a lot of payments. So Nicole just sent me a payment, so that's one way I know that I've got paid, but it also dropped right into my QuickBooks account. And what we'd love to be able to do, so we actually made these integrations and we're posting those right now. We would love to be able to drop my email address right into Demandforce or some other CRM platform so that Joe is able to use all these savvy tools without having to connect everything himself. Let me take a step back and tell you what I did, Nicole, before I walked up to Joe's taco truck. I downloaded the SnapPay app, and I went into Setup, and I went to Sign Up. So now I can go in and I can put my first name, last name, email, my card number, and my expiration date. So that's how easy it was for me to set up the account. What we'd love to do in the future is just to have this login. And we think we could probably do this through a MasterPass type application, and we're not sure what City's doing with their wallet, but we could potentially do this through some kind of a plugin or SDK so that I wouldn't have to enter my credentials and all my credit card information. I could just log in. And us at Spiderlink, we don't really want to handle payment information. We'd much rather work through some kind of an application like this. We think we can also integrate Apple Pay, so we're not a competitor to Apple Pay at all. We just want to take these payment platforms and put them into a table tent so that small businesses can use them. So at the end of the day, what this means for everyone, for the consumer, is that I have an opportunity to pay cashless and be rewarded and have a really simple way to interact with these small businesses, the same way that I'm going to interact with bigger businesses. For the merchant, it solved all of Joe's problems. He was able to offer a mobile payment solution. It didn't cost him a ton of money. He went to Kinko's and printed this out, and it connected right to his QuickBooks. And for City, we think the opportunity is consumer acquisition, so to get more and more consumers using your technology, and then also for merchant acquisition, because that's at the end of the day, those are your big customers, and to give them more tools to be able to interact with their customers. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a question about so your merchant database that associates the image here with the actual merchant. So can you explain to me, is that something you already have established? Is that something City would have to do?
Yep. So great question. So I think what you're asking is, how'd Joe get this?
Exactly, and I assume you've got something that is associating that with Joe's, merchant ID, et cetera. Can you explain a little about how that technology works? Are you hosting in the cloud, et cetera?
Yep. So I guess first things first is that when Joe went in, so there would be a portal that Joe could go in and sign in. I would see this being through Citi. We have plugins, so I think it would make the most sense for him to log into his Citi merchant account, and then it's one of our plugins, so that he would come in and sign up, and he could get different code rings for his different trucks. So that if he has 3 trucks operating on one day, it's just the brakes in the ring would be different. And so that way, the 3 trucks have different actual payment tags. And yeah, we have the technology in the platform. We have a client portal, basically, that we could white label for Citi.
Hi. So you say there's no hardware required on the merchant side. How does the merchant figure out the total price of the goods sold? Like if we have a taco truck that's like around the corner from where I live, and I go there with my family, my kids. We order like $25 worth of food. How does the merchant figure it out? Because right now he's got a tablet that's got the square thing on it,
Yep.
right? And and then he can just punch in the items, and it automatically calculates how much. How does he do that without any hardware?
Yeah, so I actually think maybe there's 2 questions there. So the first is, how does he add the math? So how does he do the math?
Yeah.
And I mean, the math, in the simplest form, you could use a calculator to do the math part. But on the other end, I don't expect everyone overnight to have this, and so you kind of have to have a transition technology. So I think he would use his tablet, and he could still swipe people's cards. He would just need to say that it's paid through cash or paid through some other way to be able to clear that transaction. So I don't think that it's he needs, and actually it wouldn't be that hard for us to develop a point of sale application for him. I guess the other part to mention though is why I think this becomes really important is with chip and pin technology. Swiping your credit card is going to become, I guess, a thing of the past, and consumers are going to become a lot more educated on the fact that you want chip and pin. And so I am concerned about small businesses having those, relying on that magnetic strip reader. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, I really like the idea here. How about the small business usually offer coupons and offers to the customers? And how they can integrate these offers together with the pricing when they do all this tech? Or discount coupon?
How can they integrate this with coupons? Yeah, so I think that part of what can happen in the app is that you can be notified that you just received $5 at Joe's taco truck. And then when I go there and I talk to Joe, I could basically show him the offer. And so when he tells me it's $6, I only pay him $1. But then on the back end, we can actually talk to the platform and tell them that we just used that coupon or used that offer. So that's part of the magic I've been waiting for from a marketing perspective, is to be able to close the loop by being able to actually have access to that payment data. I think there's a big opportunity there.
Little did I know when I ran into you in the restroom that you were going to come out with SnapPay. Listen, I am totally wowed. This is awesome. You are solving a real problem for merchants, for customers. You have made it slick, easy, simple. I'm sure there's more devil in the details, but quite frankly, this is fantastic. This is really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.